Welcome to Daisha Breedlove Presents. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, every week I like to touch base on inspirational topics with inspirational guests who could help make your life a better one. So, some of these guests you may know and others you may not know yet, but all of their stories are inspirational. So, my guest today is an actor and an entrepreneur named Moses Weathers. And we're not only going to meet him, but we're also going to touch base on a topic today, which is the importance of mental health. A lot of people around the world, including myself, go through a lot of ups and downs in life. So I wanted to touch base on what not only has helped me, but also I want to help you guys. So let's get right into it before we introduce him. Okay, so 3 ways to boost your mental health and increase your vibrations. Number 1, take a social media break, okay? I was recently mentally overwhelmed. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. And I had to take a whole reset. Now, as we know, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of social media, period, can get very overwhelming. And sometimes you just gotta take a break, as far as like considering the negative news, worrying about likes or how many followers or who looks at your story. It could be a lot. I mean, we all have been there. So just taking that mental break and getting off social media for about a good 3 weeks and just shutting off from the world and being in my own thoughts and with the higher power really, really helped me a lot. So don't let anyone pressure you to just constantly be on social media. Even if you have a business, we all been there where we have to just have a reset. So my number 1, I want to tell you guys is take a social media break, and it's okay to do so. I mean, trust me, it helps. From someone who will post daily and multiple times a day, just having that reset really helped me bring myself back to life. Okay, so number 2, let's get right into it. Journaling. Now, that is something I actually started recently. It has helped reduce stress tremendously. I mean, it helps you clear the mind, and also research says it helps you improve focus and have more clarity because you're not holding all that stuff in. So I know sometimes you may not want to share private things with people, or you may not want to go see a therapist because other people in your family may be shaming it or something like that. If so, get a journal. I mean, that is going to clear all the stuff and have you have more of a clarity and actually get to know yourself more by just writing it down. That way you don't have that mental overwhelmingness that could cause brain fog. You know what I mean? So that's something that helped me tremendously. I highly, highly recommend journaling. Okay, number 3, got my cards a little messed up, you guys. All right, so developing healthy habits, that's a big one. Now that consists of getting a good night's sleep and also just cutting out bad habits. I mean, research does show having a 6 to 8 minimum sleep and also being on a sleep schedule consistently is necessary to obtain a healthy psychological brain function and eliminate brain fog. So 6 to 8 hours every single day is something that's really, really going to help you kind of clear your mind and have clarity on your day-to-day activity. Also, what are those bad habits that we all know that we need to get rid of? Now, I'm not going to point any fingers. I mean, we all have been there, so I just want to be real with you guys. I don't know if you're smoking too much, are you drinking too much, are you eating bad food consistently? I mean, it's something that you're doing on a regular basis that's causing that mental brain fog and just kind of overwhelmingness, which can lead to you having an anxiety attack. So, I mean, you know what that bad habit is that you're doing on a regular basis. It could even include, like I said, not getting enough rest. Whatever it is, develop healthy habits that can help you just clear your mind. That way you can continue on your day-to-day activities so you can be there for yourself and also for others. So those are my 3 ways to boost your awareness. Oh, I forgot one. Also, make sure you can have those days where you just are in your head and you do like a spa or a meditation day. Another thing that has helped me is I'm a people person, so I always got my friends and my family and, people I love and people who love me around me on a regular basis. But I also make time for myself. So that includes having solo spa days, doing meditations to kind of see what's going on in my brain and connect with the higher power and have that clarity and just calm my mind. So meditation helps, spa days, doing even walks can take you on a spiritual journey, with the higher power and connect you with God. So whatever works for you, but I just want to throw a couple of things out there to kind of help you guys reduce anxiety and just come to your best self. So as we kind of lead and introduce our guest, who also is going to tell us how he keeps his energy up, let's introduce and meet Mr. Moses Weathers. Thank you for joining us, Moses.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Now, me and you, we go way back.
Sure do.
Yes, me and Moses were actually we were in a musical together called Gospel, and they actually kept my name as Daisha, but he was actually playing Jesus Christ. Now, that is a powerful role. Powerful role. So tell us, what was that experience like before we kind of get right into the questions about Mr. Weathers?
Oh, it was a great experience. I actually had a mutual friend of ours named Shalea. She actually helped me get onto the project along with my acting mentor, Dr. Marty K. Casey. Dr. Marty K. Casey connected me to Anthony Kennebrew, who then was like very ecstatic for me to have me audition for the role. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous, and I was saying that.
It's a big role. Why wouldn't you be?
I was looking to at least get a role in the production. So I went out, I auditioned, and Charles Douglas, the director, he was 90% sure that he wanted me for the role of Jesus. They offered me the schedule, they offered me the script right off the bat.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. And then I would say about 2 or 3 days, maybe a week or so later, the assistant Dante, as you know, Dante, he called me and said, the role is yours. So it's been great getting the role and then also playing Jesus Christ. Oh, it's a blessing from God. Nothing short of a blessing.
Were you in shock or not really?
I was thrilled to get it. I was thrilled to get it. I didn't know. I mean, when they told me about 90% sure, I was like, yeah. Like, oh, this feels great. It feels great. So when they called me, I was like, that just sealed the deal. So, and then I met some amazing group of friends, including yourself, on the production. So it was good to go through it and perform as much as we did. You know, we did the video for it, and then we did the live production for it. So, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. So the experience was amazing.
What an amazing experience it was. Shout out to Gospel and Mr. Charles Douglas for that amazing experience and the connections that were able to be made coming from that.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes, Mr. Douglas, for sure. Okay, so let's get right into it.
Sure.
Let's get to know Moses Weathers. Now, you are originally from St. Louis, the Midwest, like myself. Shout out to the Midwest.
Show me 7, I'll show you 8.
I'm done. Okay, so when did you move to California, and what was that transition like? I always like to ask that because, again, with us both being from the Midwest, we all know LA is completely different than other states around the world. I mean, everybody says it's like California could be its own. It's its own world over here.
Sure.
It's different. So tell us what that transition was like, and
So for me, I moved here about 3 years ago. Originally, I moved to San Diego with my god sister, Miriam. Shout out to Miriam. And I also, after that, I stayed with her for about 3 months. And then I moved on to LA. Stayed there for that first spot in LA for about 6 months, maybe close to a year or so. And I moved into my current spot now. So, about 3 years. And the experience has been great. It's been great. I mean, of course, I've had some bumps in the road with, certain living situations. Who doesn't?
Like us all. Us all and everybody who moves to LA with the dream.
For sure. But yeah, it's been a blessing from God because He definitely prepared me before I even came out here. So I was already ready. I was working 2 jobs. And then once one of the jobs ended, I started another job. So I was just busing. First, I was busing 7 days a week. Then I was busing 6 days a week. And I was just going to and from work, But yeah, and he allowed for me to save up enough money and then told me to when to buy the plane ticket. And then next thing you know, I'm out. So I'm out and I'm here. And I've been here for three solid years, and overall, it has not been a bumpy road. It has not been super bumpy. I've had certain things, but overall,
nothing to stop you, make you change direction.
Right. So I'm thankful and I'm blessed. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so before we get more into your story and who is Moses Weathers, as mentioned, the topic of the day is touching base on the importance of mental health.
For sure.
With you also being an actor and an entrepreneur, you know that it could be overwhelming sometimes. So With that being said, how would you say you maintain a healthy mindset and perspective in an industry that's so tough?
Oh, I go to God. Number one, God first. A lot of times, I could tend to, because I've gotten a lot of no's, way more no's than yeses, probably honestly like 5% yeses, and the rest is 95% no's. But going to God is really essential to my growth process, because like God is the way, the truth, and the light. And if you want to get to God, you got to go through Jesus Christ. So for me, it's very important to have a relationship with God. I believe it's Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light, and that's to God. No one gets to God unless you go through Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's important to find a church home. That's going to one of the biggest things that you have to do, finding a church home out here.
Which is something you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
LA is crazy because it's a lot of churches out here. It's a lot of mega churches out here. And it's a lot of people
who are false leaders.
A lot of false prophets.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I did get connected to a cult for over a year. So I was in that for over a year's time. And it was very unfortunate, but it was God who actually pulled me out of that. And so I've been, and before that, I actually ended up joining a church, getting involved with the church kind of like right away. And they had like a secretive process as to how they, do discipleship.
Wow.
And what for them. And
I'm like, we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
we can talk about that later in more detail. But ended up getting out of that, and then now I'm a little bit more hesitant, in regards to joining a church quickly. But I have found a church home out here, Faithful Central Bible Church.
Wow.
And am I a member just yet? No. But I plan to get involved.
You feel their teaching?
Oh yeah, the teaching is definitely from the Bible, and the pastor JP, he definitely breaks it down for sure for us to understand.
Yeah.
And I love every minute of it. So again, I'm not a member just yet. However, I want to take my time before I join, get involved in some of the functions or the activities that they have. Definitely music and arts. Definitely have a repertory theater that I'm going to get involved with. They have a dance company. And I did also put my name on the list for the singing.
They always find a way to talk you into signing up for
I'm saying. So, like out of the three, I would say acting is, big time. That's number one. And then I would say dance is next, and then singing. Even though I've kind of been like in and out of choirs for some years, I would say that's where I need the most work. But get involved in meeting new people is a great way.
Networking. I mean, that's another big thing, especially here in LA, is who you know. So networking is key. So even if you want to try, like I said, the last episode was about finding your purpose. So sometimes you have to dip your hand in different fields, or even if you're not the greatest in it, or it's not your strongest asset, I feel like that we're all being led. So it's a reason behind it. We'll find out later, but it's always a reason behind who you meet and why you meet them.
For sure.
For sure. Okay, so when was it that you knew you wanted to be in the industry and actually take this serious? And what would you say sparked that idea?
I would say, definitely God gives us the talents that he wants to do to give back to his kingdom. So God already put that in my heart way before I was born. So that's that right off the bat. And
part of your purpose.
For sure. That is my purpose, to please God and do God's work.
Yeah.
So that's all of this, me being an actor and a performer, it wouldn't be possible without God. So I'm a man of God who does things in for God and in God's presence. So whatever I do is because of God, and I give back to God, and I preach the word through. My ministry is pretty much through the talents that he's given me, which is acting and now dancing and then singing.
I'm like, speaking of dancing, that's something I had no idea you were even good at. I've been seeing your videos. I'm like, okay, he can dance too. Look at Moses.
We'll talk about that.
Won't he do it?
I want to make sure I answer that question. The rest of it. Remind me real quick.
What would you say? When did you know you wanted to be in the industry, and what sparked the idea? Obviously, Jesus Christ, like you said.
That. And when did I know
that you wanted to take it serious?
Take it seriously. I would say I got a role back when I was in middle school. And that role, we actually had to audition for the show that we were doing. It was a drama class. We had to audition.
Yeah.
So for me, I decided, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and audition for the lowest role possible. So I did. And the assistant director, who was actually also the co-star, said, Moses, I think you would be great at the lead. I was like, oh.
So another lead role. This started as a kid. Okay.
Let me stop. But no, so I got it there right off the bat, and then I did that. And then moving on, I don't think I did anything from middle school to, I think I did something. Actually, you know what? I think I did, because I had a musical in middle school. I just did this backwards. So musical in middle school. We're going to finish this. They telling us we're going to fix this.
Yeah.
So I did it in middle school. I did a musical. That was my senior year in high school that I actually got that part. And then going into college, community college, not the first year, the second year, then I started performing on the college level.
Wow.
So I would say that was the moment that sparked that I had the ability to perform. And then I was like, okay, in college, let me start doing more stuff. So,
which goes back to what I said about the purpose. Sometimes other people could recognize something like, you're actually really good at this. Yeah, and that kind of confirms what you may be thinking or you may be hesitant on. You're like, okay, well, everybody keeps telling me the same thing. Let me just try it out. Because really quick, I want to just mention this. My mother does have a saying, and since I was a kid, if 3 different people say the same thing, and especially if they don't know each other, they can't all be wrong. So that's something that you need to take serious.
For sure.
So now whether that's good or bad. So you got to pay attention to that.
Mama knows, child.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Mama Breedlove.
Shout out.
Okay, so my next question is, so you like you said, you started this as a kid. You knew people were telling you. Did your family support you, or did they prefer you play it safe like most parents?
I would say my mom is the nurturer, for sure. Mothers are always nurturers. So my mom was with whatever I wanted to do.
Wow.
So of course she wanted me to go to school and finish school and everything. She didn't want me to just drop out of school. So she wanted me to keep doing school and everything. So going to doing performing for me, it started in 8th grade, and then it didn't happen again until like my senior year, like I said before. So mom's, I believe, to my knowledge, she was on board with it. Now my dad,
it's always
not so much. He wanted me to play ball just like he did, because my dad had a chance to. He actually got a full ride to, if I'm not mistaken, or a partial ride to Kansas, and he was going to do that, but life happened. So yeah, he wanted me to play ball. He wanted one of his boys to play ball, because my parents had 4 boys. So, but he wanted me to play ball, and then eventually when he started to see my performance coming out, me performing here and there, then he's like, oh, well, you can perform, but just make sure it's around your job, get a job, 9 to 5. So, that really set in now, because I do have a 9 to 5, but I also perform as well. So once the performance aspect takes over, then no more 9 to 5, So yeah, so I would say my mom, yes, my dad supported it later on. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I agree with that. Like you said, having something consistent until the creative is full time. But long as you're still doing the creative, even if that's after work and you want to do it for, from 7 to 9, or just you have to spend a couple hours on your dream just as much as you do spending working for somebody else.
For sure.
So I agree with that. It's okay to get a job to all my creatives out there, as long as you're still doing your creative stuff. Okay. So my next question is, okay, so you said your family supported you. So you also have a degree in education, which I seen. Now, did you ever work in the education field? If so, tell us what that experience was like. Or did it ignite you, and did it remind you that you may be in the wrong industry and that's just not for you? We all have those things that, not we all, but some of us, we've heard those stories where you go to school for something and do the complete opposite of what you went to school for. So is that your story, or you actually like the field, or tell us about that?
So I actually have a master's in education. So
let me correct that. He went to school to get his master's.
Yes. So I went to school before that, and I got a bachelor's in theater arts, performance acting. So when I left there, of course, I tried to do my thing with performance for a minute. And it was about 3 years later when I went back, because I graduated in 2012 with that degree, and then I went back in 2015. So me going back and getting my master's in education was me saying, like, if I can't act, then I'll teach it. So that's what I did there. I was told to continue on and get a master's in teaching, but I was like, no, I'm good. So after that, I did a lot of work in education. Yes, I did.
Nice.
So I was an aide for a minute. I just assisted. My closest thing to actually teaching years ago was this is my first thing, was when I actually taught reading to about 21 students. I had like small groups of 3 to 4 students, and I taught reading to them. So basically I was assisting the reading specialist at the time, who was awesome. Shout out to Mrs. Stevens. And from there, I did some different education jobs. I was like just assisting, mainly just a classroom aide. Also got certified to become a behavior technician. So I did that actually out here. I did that out here. But my biggest stint thus far in education is actually teaching acting, which is what I do right now.
Because it's a full circle too. I mean, you're doing both. You're focusing on acting and also you're teaching, which is what you got a degree in. So
smart move. That's what I'm doing right now, and that's full time.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, and where is that at? Is that at
That's at a company called TLC, Therapeutic Living Centers for the Blind. Yes, so I work with individuals with mental and behavioral disabilities.
But you're teaching them how to be an artist. That's very creative and very inspiring of you. Yeah, for sure. I mean, coming from somebody who also worked as a behavior therapist with autistic kids, it's amazing and so rewarding to just help the helpless, or people who just can't help themselves. And also seeing the progress after it's done. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the kids are our next generation. So you got to help the kids. You got to help the kids. Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, I know they're telling me we got to hurry up. We're kind of pressed for time. I do want to mention that you produced your own movie that was called Love in the Wrong Places, if I'm not mistaken. And it was also won a film. It was submitted to the film festival and it won. So tell us briefly what that movie is about and what that experience was like for you.
So the title is actually Love in All the Wrong Places.
Oh, Love in All the Wrong Places.
Very key there. So it was submitted to a film festival called the Peachtree Theater and Film International Festival, ran by my sis, Pichanda DeBose. Shouts out to her for sure. For that festival, or from that festival, it actually won the Honorable Mention Award. So it was a great experience getting that award for that, and from that festival as well. I also won an award for Best Monologue. So I was good.
Amazing.
Doing my thing. So that's where that won. I actually spent some time submitting it to different film festivals. I heard back from some. Some of them were like, oh, okay, got accepted, didn't, and all stuff. Just kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, producing it was good. I actually produced it in St. Louis.
Wow.
Produced it, wrote it, directed, all that. And it was on my own time schedule. The actors were all great.
The actors were in St. Louis as well?
All of them were in St. Louis.
Wow.
Shouts out to my brother, Jason J. Little, Zachary Clark. There's a lot of good St. Louis actors there. Even some actors who didn't think they can do it. I was like, hey, I got you. So,
wow.
But but that was that. I produced some more as well. I guess we'll talk about those another time.
I was gonna say, we were talking about it off camera. I didn't know you even did that.
Yes,
I mean, like I said, I've been knowing this guy for a decent amount of time, working with him, and I had no idea that he went from being in front of the camera to behind the camera and producing his own content. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, you got to so. What sparked that? I mean, because most people have like, okay, it's me, I'm the star. So how did you get the courage to actually produce your own content while you're still an up-and-coming actor?
Well, as a creative, when you hear a lot of no's for, like doing audition videos, and you're wanting to get found or spotted in Hollywood, that tends to push you in a different direction to say, hey, you know what?
I'm gonna create my own stuff.
Create my own stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
So I got into that, and I say, you know what? Let me just do this, and let me just see how it's gonna go. Let me see, what actors I can use, and let me just figure it out. Let me just see if I can even do this. So, I tried it.
Yeah, and which a lot of successful artists have done too. Shout out to Issa Rae. I mean, the lady who produced and created Abbott Elementary. I can't think of her name right now, but she's also what started out as an actress, and now she has an entire show. So, I mean, that's how it starts. I mean, if they're not hiring you, just create your own content. Create your own content. Shout out to you for doing that. Okay, so my next question is, we're going to get a little bit personal, as you know, if you're comfortable. But for the audience, I am curious to know also, are you single? If you are, how would you say you manage having a relationship and being the man in a relationship, but also having a career at the same time? If you are single, what type of woman would capture Moses' eye?
So I am single. I am very, very so much single, and the type of woman, and the type of woman that catches my eye is you.
Oh,
kidding! Kidding!
You know what? I wasn't expecting
kidding! I told you I had a surprise for you.
He said he had a surprise. You know what?
She was like, "Oh, well, wait a minute, let's go."
I'm like, cut the camera. You know what?
No, so the woman.
I'm serious. What type of woman? I mean, we're friends, everybody. Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
Outside of the quality, I guess, what type of qualities would capture your eye?
I'm gonna get to
now
that.
He got me over here like, okay, awkward moment.
Oh my goodness. No,
this guy's a comedian.
Definitely a woman of God for sure.
Yeah.
A woman who aspires to be closer to God. A woman who, yes, going to church is important. At the same time, if it's something that you are wanting to do more of, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Definitely the qualities of a strong Christian for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And, someone who ultimately I just get along with, because it's really hard to find a woman that you can just get along with. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. The
like she basically has to be your best friend, or
friends first. Somebody you can just be best friends with, and someone who you could just talk to and just have conversations with. Of course, obviously, the characteristic traits that describe a woman, describe someone, a good person, loyal, devoted, However, it's really good. It's really a blessing if the woman comes with the fruits of the Spirit. Mm-hmm. If she comes with those,
and what are those?
To my knowledge, I don't know them off my top of my head, but I know their love, their goodness. I have to look in the Bible.
Yeah.
But the 7 fruits of the Spirit, or the fruits of the Spirit, are very important for her to have. Mm-hmm. If she has those, when she has those, I'll be able to see them and I'll be able to tell exactly what they are.
Yeah.
So in another cut, I could tell you what they are. I just have to look them up real quick.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I appreciate you being honest with this. But you hear that, ladies? He is single and ready to mingle. So those are the qualities Mr. Weathers is looking for.
Listen, single and ready to mingle, but not desperate. Not desperate. Let's get that together.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel that too, because he ain't taking anything, right? Oh my God. Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, what can we expect next from Mr. Moses, and what can we be on the lookout for?
Oh, well, that's a long biography.
Keep it short. Keep it short. We're pressed for time. They're telling us to come on.
I've been doing a lot of dancing lately. So my dancing is what you should definitely expect next. I did perform.
And what style of that? You said hip-hop?
It's going to be hip-hop. It's going to be mainly hip-hop. Nice. I've been doing a little bit of jazz funk. And I've also jumped into locking as well, foundations. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can look out for the dancing as well. I teach full time during the day, and I also teach at night. I've been teaching students at a company called Kids in the Spotlight, and they actually just filmed their short film on a big time set, which just took place yesterday.
Nice.
So I'm doing that as an acting mentor. So that's something else that you can expect as well, because I'm going to start producing and eventually directing for them as well. So that's something else. Acting wise, I'm gonna be real with you, with my agent. I didn't say it to my manager, but with my agent, I told them I need about 3 to 6 months because I'm changing my hair. So I can open myself up to potential more opportunities. So,
are you growing braids? Or?
Oh yeah. Well, right now I'm gonna get curls.
Got to do the little Bow Wow, the Trey Songz?
No and no. The Moses Weathers. Okay. That's what it is. No, I'm gonna grow it out. I'm gonna get curls, and then I'm gonna get braids. So and then I'm gonna get new headshots, and I'm gonna get fur curls and braids. So yeah. So that's
to show the different characters you can play.
To show differences and just to expose myself to different opportunities. So those are the biggest thing. So it's a lot of dance right now. Acting wise, I do have 2 feaures that I should be doing this year. One is a superhero one, and the other one is I would say, it's a love story. A young man is interested in an older woman. So,
and that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm the lead in that one. I'm the young man. So, yes.
Okay.
Don't be looking at me like I'm old now.
Okay.
I'm young now.
Okay, no, I mean, hey.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that I have another short film project. It's like a docu-series I'm doing. And I actually did a short film recently, and I have 2 potential short films that I may be doing. I have to get with the writer and producer on that. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. You needed my social right now, or you want me to wait?
Well, I mean, you said it. That was actually my next, second to last question. Before you give your socials, which will also attach at the bottom of the screen so you guys can keep up with Mr. Crazy Weathers. No, I'm kidding.
Why I gotta be crazy?
Weathers, I'm kidding.
Why I gotta be crazy?
I'm kidding. No, you're a sweetheart. But I'll definitely attach all his information at the bottom of the screen. But my last question for you is, Mr. Weathers, last but not least, if you could leave any future entrepreneurs or up-and-coming artists with any piece of advice, what would you say?
I would say always keep God first, find a church home, get with a community of believers, like-minded believers who are doing the same things that you're doing and wanting to grow in Christ, because individuals who want to grow in Christ will help you grow in Christ, and they will be doing the same things you're doing. So it's going to be nothing but love in that room. And also, I will also say, whenever you, as far as performing is concerned, when you're doing your craft and you're performing the way God wants you to perform, don't worry about the naysayers. Consistency is key.
Yes.
So if you're wanting to do something, continue to be consistent with it. Never give up. I will say that I did not believe in the word failure previously, but I will say now that failure is a part of
growth,
success, and growth.
Yeah.
So if you fail, let that failure be what it is for the moment, and then use it to learn and grow.
I agree with that. Well said, Mr. Weathers. Well said.
Can I stroke my beard on that one? Stroke my beard.
He's a mess. I'm like, we preaching up in here. No, but I appreciate you definitely coming through and, sharing how you maintain, your mental health and a positive perspective by keeping God first, and also just telling us your story, which is also inspiring. So thanks for coming through. I'm excited to, see what you do next and keep up with your dance journey. But tell everybody, where's the best place to reach you before we wrap?
Let's go Instagram, Motion Picture Star King. That's MotionPicturestarKing. Motion Picture, y'all. And if you need me in your motion pictures, call me.
You know what? Anyways, okay, well, that wraps it up for Daisha Breedlove Presents. And I will see y'all next week with another inspirational guest and another inspirational topics. But I also need you guys to make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode, if you learned something from it, or also if you want to see another guest or see more of the guests. I would definitely like to know that also. We're trying to get them likes up. So that wraps it up for Daisha Breedlove Presents, and I will see you next week with another inspirational episode.